Hey y'all. I'm going to be reference this message from Eli the priest and his two sons. And if you're familiar with this story, you would know that Eli had two sons that was, the Bible called them wicked, to where they was just doing some bad things at the temple that God was not pleased with. Okay? And Eli, it says around the 22nd that Eli was aware of what they was doing. It say now Eli was very old, but he was aware of what his sons was doing to the people of Israel. He knew, for instance, that his sons were seducing the young women who assisted at the entrance of the tabernacle. So Eli knew what his sons was doing. So he addressed them, but that's all he did. So, you can't make people get themselves together. They got to choose to do it themselves, especially when you are a adult. And Eli addressed his sons, but they still chose to do what they want to do. But it still angered God, to where God warned Eli that he was going to bring some, like he was telling him, I'm going to destroy your family. And it is somebody that's listening to me. You are a Eli, where you have sat back and watched people, family, friends do wicked and evil stuff to people. And the only thing you did was just like Eli. You just let the words come out your mouth, and that was it. But don't you know that if Eli would have said, well, due to you are doing this to the people, to God's people, then you are no longer accepted in this temple. But Eli didn't do that. So it angered God. And it's somebody that has been constantly putting family, people before God. And God is angry to where you're going to have to deal with some consequences. Okay. God said, so why do you scorn my sacrifices and offerings? Why do you give your sons more honor than you give me? For you and they have become fat from the best offerings of my people Israel. Therefore, the Lord God of Israel says, I promise that your branch or tribe of Levi will always be my priests, but I will honor those who honor me, and I will despise those who think lightly of me. And this is the 29th, around the 29th in the 30th verse. The second chapter. God was angry, and you have put other people before God, even your family, to where you sit back and watch your family do wicked and evil and low down things. And the only thing you did was slap them on the hand. And God is angry. Eli and his sons. And God said it in the word that you give more honor. That means you put people before me. You honor people before you honor me. You have put friends, family, people before God. And God said, now I'm going. I don't even want to say what he said, but God told Eli that not only was he going to destroy his sons, but he was going to also be caught up in the consequences too. Y'all, be careful, because God don't care who they are. Husband, wife, mama, father, son, daughter, brother, sister, best friend. It doesn't matter. Whenever you put people before God and you sit back and you watch people do wicked and evil things, and you just give them a slap on the hand like Eli did, and it was pertaining to God's people. Let's make sure we don't forget about that. That his sons was doing this to the people that was making sacrifices to God, and you got people that you have slapped on the hand. You got people that you know is mistreating people. You sit back watching your own mistreat people, do people wrong. And God said that I'm going to deal with not just your sons, your family, but I'm going to deal with you too, Eli. Be careful who you put before God. Be careful what you're honoring, because that's what the word say, that he was honoring. Your son, you honor your sons more than you give me. And people do not realize that you will find yourself putting people, your family, before God. And you sit back and watch them mistreat people and do people wrong. God said no. Not only are they going to deal with the consequences, but you are going to deal with it too. Nobody should come before God. Nobody comes before God. And it doesn't matter who it is. If Eli would have gave his sons that talk and say, you no longer can serve the people. You no longer can hold this position, because just because I'm giving you a slap on the hand, that doesn't mean that you're going to do right the next time. So I'm going to go ahead and remove you from this position. And that way we're going to make sure that this doesn't happen anymore. But Eli didn't do that. You didn't do that. You chose to give them the slap on the hand. And it's okay. But guess what? They kept doing what they was doing. And guess what? Eli knew they was still doing what they was doing. And it's somebody that's listening to me. You still knew that these very people that you was putting before God, you still knew the wickedness and the low down things that they was doing. You still knew it. And God said that not only are they going to deal with the consequences, but you will also have to deal with the consequences. Y'all, nothing comes before God. Nobody. When you see people mistreating God's people, this ain't the time to be giving a slap on the hand, because when I was reading this in my daily reading, God was speaking loudly. Let this story be an example. Put nobody before God and stop sitting back watching people mistreat God's people. Because look what he told Eli. Who wants to go through that? Take heed. That's all I can say. Bye, y'all.